Welcome to A Crossroads of Faith. This is Walking with Christians. My name is Nathaniel, my co-host Lily. Today our special guest is Kelly Stark. We'll get started here. How y'all doing out there in the wide world of interwebsnesses?
Yep.
Yep. Wide world of internet webs. So we'll get started. The first question is the hardest question of all the questions. Kelly, who are you?
Boy, I'm not really sure. Seriously, I don't know.
Tell us about yourself.
Oh boy, I don't know. I'm me.
That tells nobody anything about anything. Give us some background.
Some
Who are you?
background. Well, boy, like all the way back to the beginning.
Somewhere close. Not
Wherever you
quite
want.
the beginning. Just
Not quite the beginning.
not quite the
Okay,
beginning.
so I can skip day one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe the first
because I was tired after the movie.
maybe the first 20 years you could skip.
The first 20 years I can skip. Well, let's see here. Okay, well, what's there to say? I've done a lot of different things. Done a lot of different work. Everything from warehouse work to lawn care to audio engineering to you name it, lighting, roller skating. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
That is alrighty. We'll just go to the next question then.
That would be cool.
How did you come to Jesus or your faith? Your
Okay,
beliefs?
boy, that was that's been a long time ago. I was a kid, and actually it's all kind of fuzzy. Uh, if I remember correctly, it was I asked Christ into my heart in my bedroom. I was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5, I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't remember. I was just little, living on down on Cook at the time. 1306 Cook is where we lived. That was eons ago. Wow. Yeah. You know, I was raised in church. Billings Bibles where I first remember. And then we went to Blessed Baptist after that. Got involved in a few things there and whatnot. And then I ventured out on my own. Went to Faith E, and then Faith Chapel, and Open Bible, and out here, and Chapel of Hope, and but there was some other churches along the way. I bounced through a lot of churches, including churches in the Twin Cities and whatnot. Attended a Foursquare Church back in Battle Creek, Michigan. Also, when I was doing a length on a show there. I don't know. But yeah, I came to Christ as when I was a young kid, and it's been an interesting ride. I found out this was back in heavens 90, I believe. Spring of 90, maybe it was spring of 89. I can't remember. I've been spring of 89. I was laying in bed one night. I just graduated from recording and broadcasting school, and I was working at Sears in the warehouse, and doing like 2 or 3 other jobs as well. I was out DJing stuff as well. But laying in bed and I asked God, what am I supposed to be doing here? Do I completely walk away from audio and go do something else? What have you got for me? And the next day, I walked in to church, and the guy that was doing sound there at Faith E, he come up to me and said, next Sunday is my last Sunday. Then it's your baby. Now,
Wow.
not only was that an answer from God, but it was with force, because I was standing about 2 feet out from some closet doors in the foyer, and I was literally physically blown back against those doors. And I mean, it was, it was like total punctuation saying audio is a part of your life.
Very cool.
And so, and then there's there's other things that throughout I've heard God talk to me in various different ways and whatnot. Roller skating is a very huge part of my life right now, as you know, and I really feel like God wants me to keep up the whole roller skating thing as well, and put on my heart roller skating in the way that there isn't a ministry to roller skaters out there, and I'd love to see something like that happen. I really would. So,
Cool. Sounds exciting.
so anyway, I'm just rambling along here.
You are. We'll ask
All
another
right.
question here. I'll ask a fun one. If you could, what miracle or story from the Bible would you like to witness?
Ooh, wow. Miracle.
There's so many, it's super hard to choose.
Oh, well, I don't know why this one comes to mind, but because I don't like water, I'm not a swimmer, I sink like a rock,
Me too.
et cetera, et
Me
cetera.
too.
But it was super cool, with the water going up
Parting the sea.
and parting the
Parting
Red
of the
Sea.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that, and they walked across on dry land. That, what was, well, I guess the name of the movie was Moses, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
And I remember that scene in the movie and the water just standing there and whatnot. And I thought, man, that's cool. That's really cool.
That would be really cool.
I would be cool to see that one as long as I could bypass the 40 years wandering. We could just skip the 40 years of wandering through the desert and just go straight to the wall of water. That'd be cool.
Well, no, the wall of water was before the wandering, when they were leaving Egypt, because the Egyptians drowned then.
True. You are correct.
You're a little backwards.
I still want to avoid the 40 years of wandering.
You know, on the back of my Suburban, I have a sticker that says, "Not all who wander are lost."
It's true. But I could get lost. I'm pretty good with directions. I don't get lost very easily.
The children of Israel, they weren't lost,
No, they just
They-
ignored God, and so
and
They
so
got
God,
confused.
kept running them around in circles.
Yeah.
But God did take care of them.
he did. Yep, he always will.
Yep. I mean, he was constantly dropping candy from the sky for them.
Ooh, I'm cooking candy.
Called it manna.
I want like 3 Musketeers.
Well,
Reese's peanut butter cups.
no,
falling from heaven.
Now Reese's peanut butter cups falling from heaven. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Man, I'd put out. I'd
I'd be down for that.
Oh man, I'd get up real early every morning just to pick up all the peanut butter cups. That sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
stick to the rain myself personally. Don't
Rain?
You'll
don't
stick
need the
to
candy
rain?
from the sky. No, just the rain. I would get sick and probably just die
Well,
right there.
You don't have to eat all of it at once.
I have no self-control when it comes to candy,
That's true.
and neither do you.
No, you're true. You're right.
All
There's
right.
peanut butter cups. You don't have to have control. You just eat them.
Yeah, until you pass out.
That's right. I got it.
No, I really like the rain. Well, we can go to the whole point of this podcast now, reel it in. How do you, as a Christian, work in a not so Christian environment all the time?
Oh boy, it's tough. That's really tough. Because there's number one, there's this element in all of us. We're human, and there's always going to be conflict at the workplace. Boy, God knows I had conflict this week. But I that's a complicated
I
question.
know.
That's a very
That's why there's
complicated
a whole
question.
podcast about
That's
it.
why this is the reason for the podcast is
Man,
to find out how people deal with it, because there's so many different things. Like if you ask a pastor how he would deal with it, he's going to give you one answer. He's going to give you a very pastoral answer, very churchy answer. But not all of us are blessed with the opportunity to work in a church or to constantly be surrounded by like-minded individuals.
exactly.
Not that working in the
Yes.
church doesn't come with its own stress. You hear Pastor talk about how much fire and stress he goes through on a daily basis.
Oh, sure.
So
Sure.
just because you work in a Christian environment and you're around other believers doesn't make it easy. But I have found that maintaining your faith and being strong on your faith at your workplace, especially when it is so easy to just be angry because people are dumb. And
Yes. Well, you know as well as I do. I mean, you worked in the same place that I'm still at. Yes, we do deal with a lot of dumbness. A lot of dumbness. But and I know at the end of the day, I go home and I'm just so I'm frazzled. I'm not physically worn out, but I'm worn out. My brain is worn out, and I have no energy to do anything. And I remember one day I got so frustrated, and I mean I was ready to walk out right then and there. I didn't, but when I got home, I barely said hi to anybody. I headed straight for the basement, walked into the studio, and I grabbed, oh shoot, I think it was Motley Crue. Grabbed a Motley Crue CD, shoved it in the CD player, plugged stuff in the studio, and cranked that sucker up and listened to the entire album at full volume. And then I went to ZZ Top, and same thing. After 2 albums, I shut things down, went upstairs, and did a proper hello, how are ya, how was your day? And everybody said, well, we can see yours wasn't so good. And so I guess that's one way of unwinding. That's an extreme situation. I would do that every day if I could, but
I don't know if those would be my choices of music.
Well, throw in a few other things. I grabbed what was handy at the time. My, I mean, for a situation like that, you know, I'd much prefer something like a White Cross, Res Band, something like that. But I don't know. But in the workplace itself, man, I find it really hard to bite my tongue. I have to bite my tongue a lot.
I'm right there with you.
I do get into discussions every once in a while with people in authority over me, and sometimes it has a good outcome. Sometimes a not so good outcome. I've been thrown under the bus a lot. Some of that might have been my own fault. I'm not sure because I can't keep my mouth shut sometimes. But I've learned that management does not like it when you point out how stupid they are.
I don't think anybody likes being pointed out how stupid they are.
Yeah, but when you point
even
out,
if they know they're stupid, they don't want to be told that they're stupid.
yeah, you're right. You're right. But there comes a point when enough's enough. You've had enough, and I don't know. I don't know if this is really the answer you guys were looking for, but
That was a good answer.
but no. I've been now working in shop when I was over in the paint department in the paint shop there. Well, I'll tell you what, that at the time, that crew there, I mean, it was, the language there drove me berserk. And I was not shy to say, hey, God's last name is not damn. And I wasn't shy to tell them to drop the F-bombs when talking to me. In fact, that one actually made it up the chain to HR. We had and some of the music that was being played, that made it up the chain to HR, and and that's just common sense stuff. I mean, keep the workplace the workplace. It's not the deck of a ship where everybody's trying to throw each other overboard. No, you carry yourself. You try to go with a godly attitude, as tough as it is.
It can go extreme too, because people could take, if you start talking about God too much or expressing your faith too much,
Yes.
it's very easy for everybody else to go and complain to management that you're being super pushy about your religion. But in the same field, you as a Christian can't go and complain that they're talking about murder and hip-hop songs. So like the whole
Bingo.
culture of what you can and can't do in the workplace, because God is so taboo, and it's worse than politics.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
you can sit there and fight about politics, but if you talk to the wrong person about God, you're going to end up in HR, and they're
Yes.
going to tell you this is not allowed. You're not allowed
That's
to
right.
express your faith. So you have to try to show God through who you are as a person without necessarily talking about God. And
Right.
that is the hardest thing, especially if you work at a place like where I used to work and where you work. There is so much negativity and anger in that building.
Oh my
Like,
word!
you can
It's the
feel
culture.
the anger when you walk in, and it's just like everybody is so mad. Everybody is so tired of everything, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to maintain a positive attitude it was hard for even me. Like,
Yeah.
you get moments in your day where it's everything's going just right, and then one person does one thing, and you're just like, well, there's the rest of my day gone. So trying to keep that positive attitude that, you know, that God wants us to have,
Yeah.
it's like, how do I do this? Struggle. You gotta,
It's tough to keep that in that culture because, well, I don't know if you ever heard this while you were there, but a lot of us have this thing where the week consists of 5 Mondays, the day after Monday and the day before Monday. And so if it's always Monday, and Monday always carries the bad connotation of this is going to suck. The whole thing sucks. And I don't know. It's tough. But even like you say, trying to carry yourself in a godly way and you know, trying to lead by example, set a good example, etc. That's hard to do. That's really, really hard to do with minimal words. A lot of prayer. A lot of prayer is where things happen. I mean, I remember when I was in the paint shop, I'd pull in. Well, I'd leave the house and pray all the way to work, and because over there where I was working in that department, it was so the demonic oppression there was unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, I've seen some spiritual warfare in other places, and that was definitely a lot of spiritual warfare, and I believe the entire company is Satan has an impression on that entire company.
it is possible.
And it's spread. I've seen new people. I've been there long enough that I've seen new people come in, and by the time they leave, they're a different person because that culture has gotten to them and changed them, and I'm always. I know it's changed me, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And unfortunately, you know, my family bears the brunt of it a lot of times because I go home and I'm worn out. You know, there's Dad, lazy Dad, sitting in his chair in front of the boob tube and not doing anything except falling asleep. You know,
It drains a guy.
it really
Fighting
does.
a battle all day will drain you. So.
Yeah, and but yet when I go to my other jobs, I come home and I'm so stinking full of energy that I can't go to sleep till 1 o'clock in the morning, so I can get up at 5 o'clock and go back to the job I don't want to go to.
Yeah.
So
Before we move on, do you have anything to add to that, Lily?
Not really. I just feel my work environment is a lot different. I work in an office, so it's very much more professional. Like, we don't listen to music. We don't really even talk to other people just because we're so busy. But I'm very blessed and thankful that I have a work environment where a lot of the people that I work with are religious in some way. Maybe not necessarily Christian, but there's a lot of different faiths at my work. But everyone is very respectful there, and they never make me feel bad. I have one of my coworkers used to go to church here, actually, and she still asks about the people, the members, and the pastors, and the just people involved, and she'll still check in. And so I get to usually have a little chat with her at least once a week about, oh, how was church this week, or how are these people, or how do you like it now, or whatever.
Tell her to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I'll have to remind her. I forgot about it. She just actually remembered who you were because she obviously knew I was at Maxwell. And then I posted on for Father's Day, and she's like, "Oh my God, your dad's the sound booth guy." And I was like, "Yeah, that's my family. Like, we've been doing that for a long time." But I don't think he really knows who she is necessarily. I think if you saw her, you'd recognize her, but I don't think you would. Because we sit in the back and we don't really introduce ourselves to people. So it's like, you might know your face or your name, but I can't guarantee I know your name and your face.
Yeah, I'm so bad with people.
Yeah,
So.
but I'm very lucky. And my bosses, I don't know exactly what their beliefs are, but they're very respectful. And even they'll ask me, like, it's public at my my work that I come to church every Sunday, and I'm involved with the sound or the kids.
That's
and
cool.
They'll bring it up in meetings sometimes, and they'll be like, "Lily's at this church," and I'm just like, "Yeah, like,
And
yes,
you're
I
getting
am."
volunteer points to win money, hopefully.
Yeah, and we have a volunteer program, and this counts towards it. And they're so welcoming of all different types of people, which you don't find very often anymore.
No.
So our
Very-
customers are
Very lucky.
different.
Yeah.
I get screamed at all day long. I get asked, like, how do you sleep at night, and how am I supposed to take care of my family? And my job is not that serious either. So for people to
tell them on a
to
pillow.
say that,
I sleep on a
I sleep on a pillow.
and a mattress every night.
Yeah.
So.
But there are some. We have one place where we call in, like, Michigan, Missouri, the southern states, and they're all very, they're in the Christian belt buckle down there. So
Yeah.
every conversation that's supposed to be a 5-minute, like,
Bless your heart.
hey, yeah, and they're very fun to talk to. But some of them go too far, and I'm like, okay, I gotta
That's
go.
enough. I gotta stop talking to you
Sorry.
now.
And there's this one guy who I talked to. He used to be a Christian singer in Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, and he has some, like, memory problems. So I hear the exact same story every single time I call him. But it's so amazing. He touched so many lives in his thing, and he still goes out. But he's just really fun to talk to. If I ever need a break, I always just call him up. I feel like, hey, what's going on? How are you today?
That's cool.
But yeah, I'm very lucky that I don't have to deal with that. At my past jobs, there was much less of it. They were very angry people, and it was really hard. But now in this office space, even if they're not a Christian, I know that I can go to them, almost anybody, and talk
That's
to
cool.
them and feel connected in
That's nice.
all sorts of ways. Yeah,
is-
I'm very lucky, and
That
it's
is very nice.
at a church, but sometimes it definitely feels like it. I pray all day long, every day.
But being in a place
Cool.
where it's not hostile against
Yeah.
you for being a Christian is
Yeah, I don't get
everybody's
penalty
dream.
from
Every
it.
Christian's dream is
Oh
to
yeah, most
work in a
definitely.
place that just isn't hostile. It may not be pro
Yeah.
your religion, but not being hostile towards your religion, whatever your religion is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Just
there.
not being persecuted on a daily basis because you believe something is
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go a really different way here, and I'm going to ask the dumbest question you're probably going to be asked ever.
Okay.
Okay, ready? If God was a genie and he would grant you one wish and it had to be something selfish, as in you can't wish for, like, world peace and, like, you can't wish for something to save humanity. It has to be something
Just for you and
for
your
you,
family.
your family,
Like
whatever.
that.
It has to be for you. It's completely stupid, but I think it's fun. People think about.
Wow. Well, the pat answer is $1 million, but everybody says that.
Yeah.
But would that really solve problems in your life? I mean, temporarily, but once the money's gone, you're right back where you were.
You're right. So if I'm going to wish for money, let's make it $1 billion.
There you go.
So
Think
that
bigger,
my
man.
money can make money.
Yep,
So I'll
Yeah.
never run out of money.
that's right.
Um.
You got to think big.
Uh.
Reminds me of that Austin Powers movie when he comes back from being frozen, Dr. Evil, and he's threatening the government with $1 million, and the people next to him are like, it's not a lot of money nowadays. 10 million, that's not a lot of money. $100 million. You got
Yeah.
to think big.
Oh. I don't know. Boy. You know, I think I don't know.
Just
It's
take
such
the
a
money and get
dumb
out.
question, but
Yeah, take the
everybody
money and
starts
get
to
out, yeah.
thinking, and it's just like, what do you do?
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, the first thing that comes to mind is money, because you can pay your bills, you can pay your house off, you can
Provides security for your family for the rest of their lives.
exactly.
Or you
You
could
know,
wish that
and-
you had an elephant with wings that you could just ride everywhere.
There you go.
You know what? That might not be a bad idea because I could make money with that idea.
Good. A
It's a
flying
billion-dollar idea.
flying elephant is $1 billion idea.
Yes, it is.
I don't think I want to be under it when it's flying, because if it drops a bomb, talk about
It's a bomb.
talk about some dookie flying.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh.
Kind of the same lines, but not Genie. If you could ask him a question about yourself, your family, the future, a past, why he does something, and anything. Is there anything you would ask him, or you find yourself asking him a lot? You would like a clear written answer for? It's a really brain scratcher, also.
Well, not so much. There's this. I got this text, this picture in this text one time. Said it's finally come out in publication. And it was a book that was about, I don't know, about yay thick.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And the title was How to Understand Women. And then it said Volume 2 coming soon. That's probably my biggest question. I
Why are they
mean,
so complicated?
yes. Because when they say no, it means yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes no means no.
Sometimes. But you never know, do
You
you?
don't know. It's a mystery.
It is a mystery.
It's not that
And
hard,
when they
guys.
say yes, they didn't really mean yes, but they didn't mean no either. So what are you supposed to do? I mean,
And I'm fine. The worst statement ever to be made by women, I'm fine.
fine.
That's a lie from the pit of hell.
It is.
I am
It
fine.
totally is.
It is a trap in every way.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But sometimes it means they're fine. And then when you press it more, like I get asked, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm fine. Genuinely fine. And then if somebody keeps asking me, then I'll say, "No, I'm not fine actually, because you kept asking me, so now I'm mad."
Yeah.
It's kind of how it works.
Oh no, because you weren't fine to begin with. That's
Well,
why the question keeps
maybe.
asking. No, really, what's going on? What's going on? and,
Nothing.
and so along those lines. And I don't know where this is, but some guy named his restaurant I Don't Care.
So when you say, "I don't care what we eat,"
Exactly.
Where we're going. I like that.
That's $1 million idea right
Oh, yeah.
there.
I learned a new trick though. Here's a new one for you. Ask them to guess where you're taking them for dinner.
And that's
Whatever
where you
they
take
say,
them.
that's where you take them.
first guess. Yeah,
See,
you're
that's
right.
an awesome. I'm gonna. Okay.
It's from the wifey up there. Yeah.
Oh.
He was
I've
like,
done that a few times too.
yeah, he's like, guess where I'm taking you? How'd you guess? That's exactly where we're going.
It can only work a few times though, because eventually they start
they'll
catching
figure
in.
it out.
they'll
But it
figure-
builds that confidence in themselves that they can make a decision. Because that's where a lot of it comes from. For me, is I can't make a decision.
I think
I
we're
don't
getting
know.
into a rabbit hole that we don't
Oh,
want to get down into.
Oh,
Especially
that's a
after
big
today's sermon.
yes, because then finances come into it, and you end up taking
Oh,
them
New York
places you
City?
can't afford.
No, local.
So,
I was thinking
We'll move on.
McDonald's.
We're getting close in time.
Yeah.
Here's one that I like because you are a nerd like myself in all the good, positive ways of being a nerd.
okay.
Well, there's different levels of nerds. There's the computer, big glasses and
Oh,
tape nerd.
yeah, yeah.
Or there's the audio lighting industry world. There's the tech world
That's
of
not
being a
that.
nerd.
That's not being a nerd.
See,
either.
that'd be
That's
Called a nerd. It's close enough. That's what they think of when they think of us.
No.
But in that part, what is something about our church that you really like in this genre of the tech space? And what's something maybe that you've seen at other churches or in other places that you think would improve what we're already doing at the church?
You
Be
and I have
something big,
discussed a
something
lot of
small.
this already, so you know my
I know
answers
some
already.
of it. I know some of it.
But
the first part of the question, what is it that you like about this church that keeps you coming back to this church? Because you've been to a lot of different churches.
I have been to a lot of
So
different churches.
what is it that made you come to Chapel of Hope and be like, I can stay here?
Well, I'll tell you what. While I was going to Faith Chapel, which I went to Faith Chapel for years, I got to know Tex because I was doing some handyman stuff and this and that along the way, and as well as some stuff in my own house, and I'd go into well, whatever it's called now, Pro Build or whatever it's called now, but I'd go in and I got acquainted with Tex, and that was right around the time that the Chapel of Hope bought this piece of land and started building this building.
Oh, wow. That was like,
It was a while ago.
that would have been over 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Because we've been officially open for 12. Officially, like, open to the public with a permission slip from the government to open the doors and let people in the building kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's been about 12 years for that. So, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. So every time I went in there, he'd kind of give me an update on what was happening, this and that and whatnot, and that was cool. So I always had this place in the back of my mind. That was the first thing. Second thing, we were, and this during the, and I hate to bring it up, the COVID time, the government farce. That's a whole nother rabbit trail. But at the time, we were looking for another church, and I was searching things around online and whatnot, and something that impressed me was Nolan with youth group. He did some online Bible study stuff and whatnot, and then I talked to my kids about it, and Cassie thought it was pretty cool. She said,
I remember
"Yeah,
being in youth
yeah,
group
let's
with
try
her."
that church." So and this was one of the first churches opened up again after that.
Technically, we never even closed.
Technically, we're still open.
I was Me and Pastor, I sat right there, that third seat, with a cell phone, and recorded Pastor preaching on the stage. Church was never technically closed. We just didn't allow people in the building.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Closed, and
Well, there was
not
so many.
allowing
Yeah,
people
there was
in
so
the
many
building.
churches at that time that they didn't do anything, and that's
I
kind
know.
of where streaming
Really started.
got pushed.
Yeah.
Huge. Like it was
did.
starting to become a thing. There was mega churches that were broadcasting on the internet,
Yeah.
but not. It wasn't something that a church our size would have been able to do. But then, like Facebook started just doing free broadcasting, as like with a cell phone you can just live everything, and the streaming industry went crazy during that time.
It did. Well, yeah. Well, and all the schooling and everything that
Yeah,
all
everything being
that all went crazy too, and whatnot. But so yeah, so once you started allowing people back in the building, I think it was the second week we came here, and sat in those 4 seats right over there, and it's where we've been sitting ever since.
Yep. You can see your
So-
guys' heads on the live stream.
Yeah.
You take the words off the screen. That's,
Yeah,
oh, that's Kelly.
or as if my daughter's watching, she's going to say right now, "It's bald spot right there."
That is on
well,
display.
sometimes, yeah, the lyrics cover you up most of the time, but sometimes you get bobbing around and
Yeah.
then you can see,
See your head.
See the shiny thing.
see the Gandalf.
Yeah.
pop in
We can
front of
see
the
your son
screen.
a lot too because he's so tall. And so
Yeah.
if you guys are sitting on opposites, it's like you're on one side and he's on the other side, like perfectly on the little lyrics box.
Oh yeah.
So it's always really fun
It's
to see
funny, yeah.
all the little heads poking through.
But yeah.
So that's how you came to us.
Yeah, and yeah, and that's I guess that's a really long answer for what I really like about this church. In fact, everybody here is so accepting, so it's a family.
Yeah.
You walk in here, you're automatically accepted. I walked in here and that day, shoot, Tex is the only one that knew me, and nobody knew the rest of my family.
Right.
And I mean, we were. It was like everybody held their arms out for us, come on in, and this place, I don't get involved in the rumor mills and this and that, and I know every church has got rumor mills, and I don't go looking for that stuff, but at least for me, I don't feel judged here. I don't feel that my family's judged or anything like that, and I don't judge others, and I like to think of myself as a pretty accepting person when it comes to others. And that's the way I feel treated here. So that's what I really. That was the first thing, walking through the door here and whatnot. And I've had a chance to, do a few things here and there and whatnot and help out and I enjoy doing stuff like that. So I guess that's.
I think that's the number one thing. And shout out to our church, Chapel
Yes,
of Hope out here in
yes.
Lockwood, and Pastor Rick. He allows me to entertain my weird ideas, and he doesn't even question. He just, oh, you're doing a podcast, okay? See ya. Lock the doors. But shout out to our church, because I've never in my life, and I've been to a lot of churches, I've never been in a situation where you walk through the door, meet somebody for the first time, and you already feel like you've known them their entire life.
Yeah.
They treat you like family. They love on
Yes.
you. They don't
Yes.
care how you're dressed. They don't care how you look, if
Exactly.
you talk. They ask you to
Exactly.
be respectful, but that should just be nature for anything. Be respectful to other people. But
Yeah.
like, our church is such a family,
Yes. it
and
is.
that's, I think, what makes our church different than other churches. I
Yes.
love Faith Chapel. I love the environment, and the way they do lighting and video and all that stuff. But they have 5,000 people in 3 services. And it's like, I went there for 2 years and I didn't learn the name of anybody other
Really?
than the head pastor. And it's only because I knew the head pastor through my sister and stuff like that. It's like there was no interaction. I guess we knew the person in charge of the kids department because Lily and Luke were in there.
Okay.
But other than that, like, there's so many people that it's just such a big crowd. And like, for somebody like me that doesn't like being in crowds and doesn't like being around people and won't just push themselves into a group conversation, I'm not going to do that. So I never felt connected to the church.
Okay.
I could get into the worship. Stan was the pastor at the time.
Yes.
I could get into his preaching. He was a great preacher. But outside of the worship and the sermon, which I guess are the important parts of church, right? But without that fellowship and that connection, I never felt like I wanted to be there. I wanted to go because the worship was awesome. And I loved the environment. But I never felt connected to anybody in the church. I never felt anything like that. The kids loved it, and I loved it for the fact that the kids had such a great program. I never felt like I can kick my kids down this little hallway with their name badge on, and I know at the end of the service they're going to be right there for me, just the way I left them.
Yeah.
And I've never had that at any other church, so that was great. But Chapel of Hope is so different in the fact that the second you walk through the door, you are the family to everybody in that church.
Yes.
And I think that
Yes.
is almost just as important as the ministry itself. Because the community,
I agree.
the community that is inside this building is what makes church.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're just a bunch of people stuck in a semi-cool room that don't all sing on key.
Well, there's a song, I'm so glad I'm a part of the family of God.
Yep.
And we need to act like a family.
Well, I don't know. A lot of families have problems. I don't know if I want to act quite the good part of family.
The good, you take the good with the bad, but and that's something that you know, and shoot, there's a whole nother rabbit trail there. Why? I mean, we're a family here at Chapel of Hope, but we're a small part
of a much bigger
of a
family.
much bigger
Yeah.
family.
Which is
I
great.
mean, we're in one room of the house,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of other rooms in that house, and why can't we go from room to room to room to room and associate with all these different, and do a lot of things with a lot of different people within the whole family, and unfortunately, there's denomination lines and church lines. You know, we're over here doing our thing, and we're over here doing our thing, and we're not going to mingle with you guys. And I spent a lot of time fighting that.
Yeah.
And even if it was just me, I mean, I remember, you know, I remember going to multiple different churches in a week's time. I mean, between Sunday school on Sunday morning, church on Sunday morning, something on Wednesday night somewhere, and then something somewhere else on Wednesday night after the first one was done, and I bounced all over the place, and then of course, now I never went to what was Eastern at the time, now MSUB. I still call it Eastern. It'll always be Eastern. I never went there, but doggone it, I went to InterVarsity there. And that, I think that was on a Tuesday night. so I hung out with that whole crowd. I got involved a little bit with navigators up there. They had at the time there was 3 navigator guys there on staff, and one of them owned a house, and the other 2 lived there, and they'd do navigator parties there all the time. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I remember playing spoons there. Me and
You just dated yourself. You just told everybody that you are older than Moses because you played spoons. I mean, you
Hey,
look
we
like
played schools,
Moses.
and I'm the youngest.
they
person
call
here.
me Moses at the rink.
They call you Moses everywhere.
So, but no, I gotta tell this story. Me and Phil, he was one of the navigator guys. We both lunged for the same spoon, and we fought for 45 minutes over that spoon. We both broke
Wow.
our glasses. Everybody else finished the game before we got done fighting over that spoon. But I came up with a spoon. I won that battle.
Oh my goodness.
I came up with
Wow.
a spoon.
Wow.
So-
Well, I think we're about done here. Is there anything you want to end off with, Lily? Questions that you're just dying to ask that you haven't asked yet?
Oh, no, not really. We can do my personal favorite. If you were tasked, like, you know, die and go to heaven, whatever, and God gives you a job, and he goes, you have to create the next animal. We need a new species. They're getting bored down there. What animal would you create? You can merge a couple, and you have to name it also, right on the spot. Go.
Holy cow.
Because I love animals, and I'm constantly thinking about, ooh, if you could put this and this together.
Wow. Never thought about anything like that before. I don't know. How about a flying giraffe?
Another flying elephant, as was discussed earlier.
Well, yeah. I mean, that way, you know, if you're going to take animals out of the zoo and give them wings, I mean, you got to do more than just one.
True.
So, you know,
Imagine the size of the wings you'd have to have for an elephant to fly.
Well, bumblebees are very short and fat, and they got itty bitty little wings that carry them. It's supposed to be
True.
physically impossible for them to actually fly,
This size.
Yeah.
according to science.
Like elephants weigh like school buses.
Yeah.
Like
Well, yeah, but
they're like a 2-ton creature.
they would need
It's like,
wide-spanned ones.
the downdraft would be like a helo. That thing comes into land and it's just blowing.
Can only
I
land
could
on.
see the cartoons
deserted.
now. Elephants landing on power lines like birds, just sinking all the way to the ground.
boing, boing.
Well, I think that's going to end it today. Appreciate it, Kelly, for coming on with
Yeah.
us. Hopefully, it wasn't too torturous.
Oh, it's pretty
And-
painless.
Awesome,
Spread the
awesome,
word.
awesome, awesome. We try to have fun and not be too serious, but you know, it is what it is. We are beginners, so we will see you guys next month. And this has been a Crossroad of Faith.
Bye.
Bye.